Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the Queen's Court. My name is Stephanie English, if you didn't know, or Queen as they call me, or any one of those work for me. The Knicks play basketball Wednesday, so we're here to break it down. We're going to talk about the last two games of the preseason overall, and then we're going to get into the game against Memphis and Detroit. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We You're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know how we do it at MBK is going to be even better this season. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime we go live. That includes the Queen's Court, of course, Knicks and Bruises, still Knick fans and the NBA report. And then, of course, pregame, postgame, the morning shoot around, Coach's Corner, any other videos Sim puts out. And you'll also be notified if there's any events. Okay, you definitely want to rock with us. If you haven't already, this Friday, when we play Detroit at Legends Sports Bar in the city, we're doing our pregame live from there. Then we're going to the game, and then we're coming back, and we're going to do our postgame live from there. If you don't have tickets to the game, it's fine. It's a great place to just chill out after you listen to the podcast and just watch the game from there. Have a watch party. And then we'll be back for the post game. Anyway, I'm joined today by Simeon Russell, the creator of this channel, Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises, and we're here to break down all things Knicks. How you fellas doing?
Doing good, feeling good, man.
Peace, Queen. What up, Sim? Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time.
All right. Let's get right into it. We're not going to spend too much time on the last week's preseason because I'm already into regular season mode right now. We only played 4 games. That was the longest preseason ever. We only played 4 games. Shout out to the chat. Rocking with us. Anyway, we played Detroit. Was it Detroit? No, is this right? No, this is not even right. All right. Anyway, we got to move off of this. We'll just talk about it. We actually played Indiana and Washington, right? So Grimes played in the last game of the preseason, the Washington game. Fournier made his return, in that third game against Detroit. Before we move on to the preseason as a whole, anything in that Indiana game at Indiana or in the Washington game that, I don't know if the word is anything concerning, anything encouraging? Yes, Tony.
Actually, my answer for both questions is the same. So it was both concerning and encouraging. Okay. Tibbs, he let those the second unit try to finish out the game. You know what I mean? He didn't panic and say, "Oh, I got to go back to my starters to get this win." He took it as a learning experience or experience for these guys to earn. Discouraged because they didn't pull it out, but to see them fight and try, to see Tibbs give them the shot was definitely encouraging to for him to see what he has in these guys.
All right.
For me, I'm concerned about the perimeter defense. I felt like we let a lot of people get in the lane. And I know Mitch, he's been a shot blocking demon so far in the preseason. Well, and hopefully he's going to extend it to the regular season. But I'm concerned about that perimeter defense, man. When you let guys get in the paint, it can cause so many problems outside on the perimeter, getting people in foul trouble, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a little bit concerned about the perimeter defense. Hopefully, when Grimes is fully returned and healthy, he helps out in that department. You know what I mean? Encouraged. I'm encouraged about the energy surrounding the team right now. They look energized. They seem happy and to play with one another. So I'm encouraged about that. because I think that goes a long way. Obviously, probably every team is like that. You know what I mean? But, coming into the season, during the offseason, you had the whole Donovan Mitchell thing and all of that. But, it seems like guys are genuinely happy to be here. And, the trade didn't happen. So they're like, we're here. This is our team. And like RJ says, he feels like they're going to shock the world. And it's like, it looks like these guys feel like they're on a mission, to do something special. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but for them to go into the season with that kind of mindset, I think it's great. You know what I mean? So I'm really encouraged about that.
Yeah, and if I could add just the individual improvements, like from RJ, from Mitch, without getting into all the details.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be real big for us.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other part of the question too. Anything encouraging or disconcerting from a team perspective, or even from an individual perspective, in these last few games. From a team perspective, I'm very encouraged by the pace. I think it's going to stick this time. And I know we played with pace in the preseason last season, and it didn't stick. But for whatever reason, I just feel that it's going to stick this time. So I'm really encouraged by the pace, and it looks natural. It doesn't look like they're forcing it, actually, and it's something that they are able to do for the entire game for the most part. So I'm definitely encouraged by that, and I'm encouraged by the assists per game. Just how they're moving the ball, and people are actually hitting shots. RJ Barrett has been very efficient this preseason, and so has Brunson. So I'm super stoked and excited about the pace and the assist. And with Sam, I'm a little concerned about the perimeter defense, though against Washington it looked a bit better. So it's definitely something that they worked on in between that Indiana and Washington game, and it did look better. And I just think it's going to take time, like I said before, for it to gel as a team, our team defense to gel. But I'm not that worried about it on a Tom Thibodeau team, because he's not going to give up. He's going to keep figuring out ways for this defense to get better. Anything encouraging or you're concerned about from any individual player over these? I mean, we could just take the preseason as a whole if you want.
I'm concerned with Randall. Not that he's going to play bad, but his shooting off the ball. I don't feel like Randall has a lot of touch anyway. You know what I mean? Not a lot of touch. So I get concerned with him. He's going to get a lot of open threes, it feels like to me, because of the way that the offense is played. And I'm not sure. I'm hoping that he's going to be able to knock those down eventually. But it's a little bit tough. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure he's going to be able to knock those down consistently, because I just don't see a lot of touch in his shot. You know what I mean? He has good form, steps into it well, but then just with the release, it's just not a lot of touch. You know what I mean? So I'm concerned a little bit there with Randall, but I do feel like, or at least it looks like, he's motivated to play the rest of the game, despite the shooting. You know what I mean? And getting assists, he's not playing selfish. He seems to be genuinely trying to play unselfish basketball. You know what I mean? Even if he's having an internal struggle, you know what I mean? Like, man, I need to get me a shot. But knowing that he's got to do the right thing, seems like he's doing the right thing. Hopefully that continues. I'm a little concerned about Quentin Grimes and injuries. You know what I'm saying? Obviously he was injured all preseason, got to play versus Washington. I think I've seen something somewhere where maybe he's questionable for Memphis. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the bench? Like, I've been reading like on Twitter and in the chat, various chats, that people are concerned about our bench. And I know in the preseason it hasn't been hasn't been that strong. I think 24 points a game. Is that just about us trying to find our rhythm, or do you think that's going to be a concern throughout?
Man, I don't. I think it's about us finding our rhythm. You know what I mean? You got a guy. Hartenstein is an integral part of the team. You know what I'm saying? And he brings a different dynamic that it seems evident Tom Thibodeau is going to use. So it's going to take a little while for them to get used to that, I think, and understand the best, how to just mix it all together. Figure out, okay, how do we get IQ his shots? Because he needs some shots. How do we get where we can use Hartenstein and take advantage of that? So I think there's some adjustments going on with that unit as well, because they're gonna be playing differently than they played in previous years.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna come together. Rose didn't play a lot in this preseason. Hartenstein, iHeart is new, to the rotation. I think Obi is trying to find his way, in the sense that, he's trying to incorporate the 3-point shot more. He's putting the ball on the floor. Like, he's trying to do a bit more in the half court offense than in the past. And I think that's gonna take some time as well. And it's Grimes or Cam. Like, so that second unit, hasn't really been able to find a lot of continuity as well. So I think the bench is going to be strong for us. I just think it's going to take time.
I think the problem with the bench and the concern is really the stability, because Grimes obviously hasn't been here. He's been hurt. He played one game. Then you have a guy like Cam, who's had all the opportunity to come step up and fill in, and it's been lackluster. And then, to his credit, or not to his credit, but I mean, he's trying to figure out his role in that system. Hartenstein, he seems to have come in seamlessly, but I'm sure the guys around him are trying to figure him out. So I think it's really, I think they'll get better with once the lineup is established and set in stone. The injuries are gone, so there isn't a flip flop here and there, and they just become more accustomed to each other. So concerning right now, yeah, but long term, I don't think so. As long as everyone's health is in full attack, because it's hard to. I mean, it could be good for them that they're trying to adjust and figure these things out now, as opposed to everybody came in healthy. This is the lineup, and now somebody else has to wait until the opportunity, and then, you know what I mean? So, but I think once we're whole, I think it'll fall in line.
Yeah, me too. And the game, I'm not sure what it was, the preseason game in which the bench didn't do that great closing it out. I'm not too concerned about that. Either one, I don't think they're going to be in that situation in a game. And two, like we just talked about, it's new, and they're getting used to each other. Shout out to Paris Doug. Appreciate the super chat. What's exciting is the starters are good. I'm not worried about the bench. IQ and Obi start slow, but I know they will hit their groove, and I'm loving Mitch. Yeah, I mean, Mitch has been playing. Mitch has been playing well, and I'm not gonna throw any shade on how he's playing. This is what I will say. One of the hardest things to do in this league is to do whatever it is that you're good at, game in and game out. To not just flash and have that good game, but this is who I am. This is not just a good game for me. This is how I roll. This is how I show up, game in and game out. And I think from what I've seen in the preseason, it looks to me like RJ is there. Like, he would have these flashes in his second. This is his fourth, right? In his second year, he would have flashes. Last year, after Christmas, whatever it was, we saw more consistency in his game. And this year, every single game, it just seemed preseason game. This is just who I am. This is what I do. I hit, catch, and shoot. I get to the rim and I finish. I go to the free throw line and I hit my free throw shots. This is just what I do. It's not a good game. This is just what I do. And that's what I want to see from Mitch. I'm hoping this is the year for Mitch, where this is what I do. I fly around. I'm active. I'm a double guy. If I block shots and I alter shots. This is not a good game for me. This is what I do. That's what I'm looking to see from Mitch this year. And I think that's the struggle for Obi, right? I could see early on that there's been a change in his skill set, right? That he's a little more comfortable putting the ball, on the floor. Defensively, he's more defensively aware. So you could tell there's been changes, in that regard. He's gotten better. But again, it's game in and game out, where it gets to the point that this is just who I am. You close out on me, I'm going to put the ball on the floor. This is just, who I am. I'm aware, period. It's not a good game of defensive awareness. I'm just aware. And I think it's going to take him some time. All of the things that, for a lot of our guys, that they've practiced in the summer in open gym or in a gym by themselves. Now, how do I take the same skills and be proficient at it on an NBA level, game in and game out? And I think it's gonna be a challenge for Obi. I think I want to see it from Mitch, and I'm encouraged by what I saw from RJ. I think he's there in that regard.
I agree with RJ. I think RJ is there. It's not to say he's not going to have some bad nights.
Right.
Obviously he's still going to have some bad nights, but I think RJ is understanding, how to fit in and understanding his role and what he's expected to do, and he's comfortable with it. I think Mitch, you heard Julius Randle, if you watched his interview yesterday, they asked him about Mitch and why, he seems to be playing so well in the preseason, and he said exactly what you said. He's comfortable with who he is as a player. And so with him being comfortable with who he is, he can just lean into it and be that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Without worrying about, well, I need to get a 3-point shot. I need to do this. I need to do that. He can just be who he is and just love it. You know what I mean? And he does seem to be comfortable doing it right now.
Speaking of that, he even referenced, they asked him about shooting a three and how in the past he referenced wanting to shoot the three. And he kind of backtracked from that and said exactly what you said, son. And, I know who I am. I know what I do great. He joked and said he wanted to do a crossover. I just want to do a crossover. But, you know what I mean? He established that, if it comes, it comes, you know what I mean? But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about being great at what I do. So I think you can notice to an extent, the same type of stability coming forward from Mitch, or moving forward, coming from Mitch.
If he does that, I'm happy.
And look at that free, like he even confident in his free throws. You know what I mean? If I'm right, I think he was 3 for 4 overall, or at least that's what I remember.
75% from the free throw.
But, I'll take that.
No doubt. 75, Mitch.
That's what I'm saying.
Mitch shoots 75%.
And that would change my whole theory that Hartenstein has to close out games, because that takes away one of his liabilities. If he's hitting that free throw, it may not be just a defensive offensive substitution.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would definitely. Tibbs would have options depending on what he needs, because Hartenstein does still give you the spacing. So it would depend on what you need out there to close the game. But you would have options. Tibbs would have options.
Yeah, and this is a team that, I mean, it may be the most versatile team that I've seen I mean, in a really, really, really long time that the Knicks have had.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, they can decide to play in. They can decide to throw a defensive lineup out there if they wanted to. They can decide to throw an all offensive group out there. You know, they can. You know, they can have a big that can. You know, a center that can shoot it from three out there if they need to. I mean, they can go. They can go small if they want to. They can go super small like Tibbs did in the preseason.
Right.
They can do a lot of different things.
Right. Right. Yeah. No doubt about it. If Tibbs do something like that, like even put like I hard at the 4 and bitch at the 5 or so, you know, or something like that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's going super big.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, it's like, because we've had versatile squads in the past, notably 2013, but there was no youth on that team. You know what I mean? So now not only are we versatile, but we have a mixture of youth and, I mean, you can't even really say full vets. You know what I mean? You got mid vets and youth, so that's even better for the future in my brain.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You know, if you're just looking at this team in a vacuum, you'd be like, wow, this is a really good team. It's just that the Eastern Conference is beast, and it's like such a beast.
I'm telling you.
You know, so it's not even like the team itself. Like this is a good roster. You know, it's just that when you look at the on paper, Pudge Nice said on paper, you're right. On paper, it's a good team on paper. But when you look at you know, just how competitive that Eastern Conference is, you know, remember in the season we went to the playoffs, our net differential between our offensive rating and defense was like 1. Right now it's 11. That's not going to hold. That's not going to hold. 11 points for a net rating.
Let's see.
Nah.
I mean,
I don't even think was 11 net rating.
I ain't even go front though. That 1, you know what I mean? That joint was in the red for more than it was in the blue. You know what I mean? Like we had a winning record, and our point differential was a -1. You know what I mean? For a long time, I was monitoring, and it was just weird to me, which concerned me at the time. So that is another step that I will be watching moving forward. You know, how it looks after 5 games, how it looks after 10 games. You
But
know,
if you had to guess, wouldn't you think that we're going to be in tight games?
I mean, we have a tough schedule to start the year. So based off that, I would say yes. Like at the very least, because even though if we lose in some games, I'm hoping that they're close enough and tight enough that, you know, it hurts. It gives me, you know, heart issues, but I hope it comes down the stretch and we have an opportunity to win most of these games. But I think as we get better, it may change and we may establish some dominance.
If I had to guess, I would say that they're going to be close games, but I'm much more confident in our ability to not blow those close games and to even win those close games because of the decision making with Brunson being on the team. But it's hard for me to see us breezing through games, you know, and then not being tough. But we shall see. I would be a happy camper if that is the case. You know, if that is the case, I just look at this Eastern Conference and I think this is going to be dog fight city right here. Game in and game out is going to be a dog fight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's gonna be some battles.
Yeah,
all season long.
Right, and that's why our free throw percentage. You know, I'm encouraged by. I know it's a small sample size, 3 or 4. You know, RJ, I think, is at 81%, you know, right now or something like that. That's what you're going to need to close out those close games. And our decision making, I think I'm a little concerned with Tibbs because down the stretch, you know, if IQ's decision making is not great, I need you to pull him out. Not just IQ, whoever it is. he's from that Pat Riley school. Pat Riley, he gonna go down with his guys no matter what.
Right.
I'm gonna win with him and I'm gonna lose with him. And you definitely get the respect of the players when you do that. They'll go through a brick wall for you for sure. But sometimes you just gotta cut loose, not forever, just for this particular game,
Right.
So
And sometimes it'll teach the player a lesson too.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. Anything else about those two games? I want to pull up the season, the preseason stats, and I just want to ask: is there anything? Basically, I could have took the preseason of last year out, but comparing last season to maybe not. Basically, the way they played in the preseason to the regular season last year, some things held, some things didn't. When you're looking at our preseason stats, how confident can you pick one or two, whichever ones you want to talk about? Are you comfortable that they're going to hold within the regular season? What you don't think will hold, and what you would like to hold up going into the regular season?
I definitely think the assists will hold. It looks like we're playing together.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we have multiple guys that any given night could give you 5 assists or possibly more. So yeah, I definitely think this year we're not going to be in the bottom of assists. You know what I mean? We're going to definitely do that. Yeah. What would I like?
Right now in preseason, we're 11th in assists, which is top half in the league. Last season, we were 30th in assists. Right, we were dead last in assists. And I'm with you. I don't know if I'm ready to say it will continue as much as I'm willing to say I really want that to continue.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
I also think the pace will continue. Obviously, I don't know if the practice that we all attended is tainting my opinion, but that 14-second shot clock that they worked on is huge. I believe it was the last game. There was a particular possession that the ball got knocked back court, right? And I believe Brunson had to run back court and get it. No turnover because it was hit, but now it was 9 seconds on the shot clock. So working on that 14, now you're not panicking with 9. You know what I mean? So instance like that, I think is going to really help us. Can I say something that I hope improves?
Can I just comment on the pace real quick?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if Sim, did you have something you wanted to say something about the assists?
No, I was actually going to comment something on the pace as well.
Okay, all right. So we'll stay on pace. Even in preseason, we were 21st last year, right? Then it went to 29th. We're 5th now. Even if it drops, I don't think it's going to drop from 5th to 29th. So I'm pretty confident we're going to finish in the top half in terms of pace. And for a team that's, we didn't shoot well last season. Take away the big guys who's shooting close to the basket. Getting them extra attempts at the basket helps. If you're not shooting well, it remains to be seen whether we'll shoot the ball well this year. Sim?
What I was going to point out with the pace, and this kind of points to the league as a whole, when you look at the preseason in 21-22, our pace was 102.5. That was 21st in the league. When you look at 22-23, the pace is 102.38, just under 102.5, and it's 5th in the league.
Right.
So, if we stayed at 102.38, somewhere around there, did we increase the pace or not?
Right.
From the previous preseason.
Right.
Even though it's 5th. So that'll be interesting to look at too. Just how I do think the pace is going to remain high, even if it's doesn't result in a super high number of shot attempts or things like that. But the way that they're playing and making quick decisions, I think also is another determination of pace, not just the shot attempts. I think they're making quick and decisive decisions on the offensive side. At least the starting unit is, and hopefully the second unit will as well. And I think that goes as much in the pace as anything. You know what I mean? Just being able to make a quick decision, pass the ball, know, hey, I don't have a shot, and I'm not going to take 5 dribbles to get a shot. I don't have a shot. I don't have any kind of a look. I'm getting it off to the next person. We're going to move on to whatever the next evolution of this play is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's important.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I also think defense will be legit and stay within the top 11. We managed to hit 11th last year, top 4 the year before. I think we know that's what is going to be the staple of Tibbs' system. So I can't see us. I think we'll be top 11 or better again moving forward.
And this is the thing with Tibbs. He'll make adjustments in a lineup based on the defense. He'll give it time, though. Because when you think about when Kemba Walker came out, I don't think it was about the offense. It was about the defense, when he made that change. So, Brunson and Fournier, he's going to give it an opportunity. But if we're winning, fine, But trust me, he's going to go over that and go over it. And if he feels defensively that he needs to make that move to Grimes, if he's healthy, because we're just not what we need to be defensively, he will make the move for sure. And that might be the only reason. I don't know if he'll make it for offense. I think he'll make it because the defense just isn't as good.
I agree.
Yeah. The other thing that stands out is the bench scoring. And we talked about this in the last segment. Preseason, 47.3 points a game. Last season, I don't even know if that, most of our bench had to move into the starting lineup because of injuries, right? So it was 17.1 points. Right now in preseason, 24.2 points for 22nd in the league. I don't think that stays the same. I think that goes up. Actually, I think this bench. Let me see who. You know what? Let me ask it a different way. Who's the scorers on the bench?
Exactly.
Let me ask it a different way. Who's the scorers on the bench?
Like, obviously, we know what Obi's capable of or potentially capable of, but that has to be something that is within rhythm, right? It's not like you're dumping the ball to him and saying, get us a bucket. He's scoring in specific type of ways. So he could put up the points and give it to you, but it's going to be based off of how he gets the ball, when he gets the ball, as opposed to just dumping it to him. Right now, I think we're relying on Rose. We're relying on Quickly as being shot creators for themselves and others. But the others, you kind of have to feed them. Hartenstein as well. He's a guy that can create for others, but you're really not going to be giving him the ball saying, go get us a basket. You know what I mean? His shots, the threes and otherwise, are going to be given to him, assisted. So it's interesting. Grimes, I think he's right there in the middle where we've used him, where his shots are being created for him. Right. We're hoping that he could broaden that scope and kind of create his own offense as well as do catch and shoots. But great question. Right now, I think it's Rose and Quickly, and everyone else. You got to kind of feed them their points.
Do you think we're going to be counting on Rose for scoring in that second unit?
I think he has the capability of scoring, and he's gonna read. He's gonna read the game. So if the game needs scoring, and his defender is he could beat, that's what he's gonna give us. But he's still a score first guy too. You know what I mean? But he makes the right reads and knows when to pass. That's what we're hoping quickly can kind of develop. You could be a score first guy, but you got to know how to read it and know when and where to pass. But those are the only two that create their own shot.
Right. But if they can create their own shot, but can they create for others? Because in terms of getting others involved, I think we're going to need Grimes in that second unit. I mean, if he's healthy, I mean, you think about how are we going to score? I don't see Rose scoring. He's only going to be playing, from what I'm seeing, like 12, 14 minutes. How much is he going to score? That second unit may have issues scoring.
Growing pains. It's going to be growing. And when you say Grimes, yeah, but we've seen him kind of establish that kind of role in the summer league. But even with that, we was encouraged to see what he was doing, but the numbers weren't the percentages so that wasn't good. So do you want him doing that moving forward, or is he better as the catch and shoot guy? Yeah, I mean, and granted, he can thrive in that, but I don't know. I don't even to me. I don't know if we rely on him to create his own offense. He's gonna have to show and develop it more. I think. To show the capability more.
I think the fact we're relying on him at all to score, is yes.
I mean, if Rose isn't scoring, that means a lot is going to be. That second unit might go as IQ goes. If IQ is having a hot night, then the second unit look outscores the other second unit. If he's not, then maybe they don't. And, that could be an issue within itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Obi, he relies on the guard to find him, through alley-oops, on a fast break, this and that. Hartenstein doesn't really want to shoot the ball unless it's a three. Right? Now, you can run some offense through him, for some spells out there, but once defenses figure out, okay, we gotta cut off the backdoor cut, we gotta stop him from slicing to the basket because iHeart's gonna find him. Then what's next? So they could have some trouble scoring. Someone's gonna have to step up and be and score. That's where I think Tibbs and the coaching staff was hoping Cam would step up.
Right.
And prove that he could be another scorer out there who can create his own shot.
Right.
So far it hasn't been the case.
But I also think Cam hasn't tried to, I don't know if that's been told to him, because it doesn't seem like he tried to establish himself as that role. It seemed to me like he was trying to be more like Grimes and fit in than come in and say, oh, I gotta score, I gotta do this. You know what I mean? And I think that's where him being lost or not knowing his role, I think that's where that came from. Mm-hmm. I think he was trying to fit in more than trying to. It's not like he's out there saying playing for a contract. It's not like he's out there trying to say this is my last chance, I gotta do. You know what I mean? It felt like he was trying to fit in too much.
See, I think obviously I don't know, but maybe they told him, hey, just play, take what the game gives you, right? Take what happens naturally, but also hoping that what happens naturally is that he can score and get buckets. Like that's what's natural to him. You know what I'm saying? Because coaches all the time will say, hey, play within the flow of the game, but they know this guy can play within the flow of the game, But when it comes down to it, he's going to be able to go get me a bucket. You know what I'm saying? He's going to attack. He's going to be able to go off the dribble and pull up, you know, and I think maybe that's what they were hoping from Cam. Like,
I
okay,
agree with you 100%.
you know,
I just think it's a tough, as the player, that's a tough position to kind of figure out. You know what I mean? It's like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I mean, this is where I think, you know, this is another reason to put Grimes in the starting lineup to get, you know, a bit more scoring in that second unit. But I think also it might be something that Tibbs kind of sees already, because think about it. I believe it was the Washington game. That first substitution was, I believe it was iHeart and IQ. You know, they came in to give, you know, iHeart an opportunity to play with that first unit a little bit. And remember, he hit Brunson with the back door. You know, so him and Brunson was in together for a little bit. Then he came in with, I think it was Obi Toppin and somebody else, and the next thing you know, RJ was in there with that second unit. So he's staggering, at least in that game, was staggering the first unit and the second unit, you know, a lot. I don't know if he did that just because he wanted to see how, you know, iHeart plays with the first unit. I think he already knows how RJ plays with the second unit, or if it was more about just trying to mix it up a little bit, because bringing out the whole team and bringing in a whole new team, sure, it's going to get to that point, but he staggered it such that it was less minutes, if that makes sense, where it was just 5 new different players in there. He staggered the first and second minute so that they're playing by themselves less, you know? So
I think he started doing that mid last year as well.
Yeah. And he made, yeah. We'll see. I would definitely like to see iHeart with that first unit some, you know, to see how that, you know, how that looks. Yeah. Anything else from this preseason that you think will hold and will not? I think our 3-point attempts made percentage will hold. That held last season as well, from preseason to regular season. I think that'll continue. I think our defense will, rebounds will continue as well. Yeah. Get that net rated. That I will tell you, we talked about this a little early. I don't think, was that on your show, Tone? Or was that earlier? That was that 11.2 net rating differential between the offense and defense, like winning games by 11 points. Nah, I don't think that's how.
I don't think that's.
I'll take +5. I'll take +5.
Point. Even in the league itself, like that 0.5 net differential is you smoking on offense and defense, or one more so than the other to have a 0.5. 5-point differential. But yeah, we were negative 0.4 last season, and the season before that, we might have been like 1 or 1.2 or something like that. So for those who've been around, they're used to playing close games.
Right. And then, you know, when you're playing close games, because I think this team is going to play a lot of close games, and I think they're going to win more close games than they did last year because of the additions on the team.
Correct. I agree.
But this is where, to me, the rotation really starts to get called into question. You know what I'm saying? Do you really trust Grimes down the stretch? Do you, Tom Thibodeau I'm talking about, do you really feel that Grimes can get it done down the stretch? And I think he's going to give him a chance to prove it. You know? Do you trust Derrick Rose more than you trust Grimes if he's healthy? Do you trust IQ down the stretch?
Right.
I think there's 3 guys that he's going to trust down the stretch right now, and that's Brunson, Randall, and RJ, right? And the only reason why I'm not mentioning Rose is because we don't know about his health. So those are 3 guys, but man, down the stretch, you're going to need more than those 3 guys. You're going to need guys that can come in and really produce offensively and defensively. And this is where I think Tibbs, maybe in the beginning of the season, you might even see him play around with that closing lineup a little bit just to see who he thinks fits the best with those 3 guys in those moments.
Yeah. And shout out to Trish T. She's making a good point. IQ took over the 1 from both Deuce and D Rose when he was on the floor with them. Even D Rose's game suffered because of it. I don't know about that part, Trish D. But I agree with you that even with Rose on the floor, he was hands on the ball. Now, is that because they're not trying to wear Rose out? They've been limiting his minutes in preseason and things like that, or is that a precursor of things to come? That even when both of them are in the game, he's going to be handling the ball.
Right.
I don't know, but I agree that Tibbs going to have to push the right buttons in terms of what rotation gives us the best chance of winning in this particular situation. Because games are going to be close, and having the wrong player in at the wrong time could make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It can make a difference, especially down the stretch. Evan didn't close a lot of games for us. Evan was one, if he was playing well, he got a chance to play. If he wasn't playing well, he would sit. Is it going to be that way with a lot of other players this season?
Right.
Remains to be seen. The only other thing that I'm not sure will continue, but I'm hoping will continue because of the pace, is the points. I don't think it's going to be 113. But, I'm hoping that our points per game and our offensive rating is at least in the top 15. In the preseason, it was 6th, our offensive rating. I'm hoping that is at least in the top 15. And the points as well. Top 15. I'm happy. Any thoughts on offensive rating and points?
Yeah, I think we will continue to score. 113.3 points per game. I think I could live with that because I do think we're going to be a good defensive team. Are we going to hold teams to 99 points per game? I don't think.
Right.
But, in the preseason, 99.5 is 4th. I would say the Knicks, fall somewhere between 4 and 10 defensively, I think. You know what I mean? And I don't know what 10th in the league was, but
last season, you mean?
This in the preseason.
Oh, in the preseason, got you.
Yeah, I don't know what it was in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Knicks will continue to score. With that, because I'm pretty sure that game. Well, I'm not. I know that game includes the Detroit game. How much did Detroit score? It was a pretty low scoring game.
Yeah, I think it was 99, I want to say.
They scored 99, and then there was a low scoring game with maybe Indiana, second game, or maybe one of those games was a low scoring game. The Knicks won, but I think the Knicks only scored like 101 points or something like that. Maybe that was the Washington game. I'm not sure. So it's because it's only 4 games, it's probably skewed a little bit. With the Knicks playing at a higher pace, maybe having more shot attempts, opposing teams are going to score more, probably score more points because they're going to have more possessions as well. So, where do they hold teams shooting, I think, is going to be an important thing to look at. Do
Right.
they hold teams, can they hold teams under 45% shooting and under 35% shooting from the 3-point line? even though they may be scoring more points. So if the Knicks are outscoring teams 113 to 110 or something like that, I wouldn't be upset, and I wouldn't give the 110 points per game. I wouldn't say that that's an indicator of a bad defense if they're playing and they're scoring at a higher pace, right? More shot attempts and things like that, because that means the other team's going to get more possessions as well.
Right. Sim, to answer your question, the defensive rating in preseason for the 10th ranked team was 101.7.
101.7.
So yeah, that point differential would have still been up there. So I'm talking about 5 points a game. We beating teams.
I want to just get a sense, just what was the spread? Let me do this real quick. Last season for net rating, the spread was 7.5. That was tops. Number one, which was Phoenix, 7.5. And the bottom was negative 9.1. And that was Portland. So 5 was Golden State.
Okay, I'll say 3.5.
Yeah. Right. 5 was Golden State. 3.5 was Dallas last year. And 3.2 was Milwaukee. Even Philly was 2.8. So, I mean, it's just a very competitive league. And unless you, and I would think that those guys who were like 7.5, their pace was probably not really. Phoenix was 7.5 with a decent pace, but Boston's pace was 97.26, and they were number 2. I think it was their defense that helped them win games by 7.4 points per 100 possessions. Like, wow, that's impressive. They were number 2 in the league. We're looking at those: Denver, Toronto, Cleveland, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Charlotte. We're talking about 2.1 to 0.2. So like the margins, for most of the league are pretty slim. The difference between offense and defense is pretty slim. Yeah. All right. Anything else about the preseason? Because I'm about to turn the corner on this. And we're about to get into the regular season. Next week, we play Memphis Wednesday, Detroit Friday. And for those who weren't here in the beginning, we'll be doing our live podcast, pregame podcast from Legends in New York City. Legends, is it just Legends or is it Legends Sports Bar?
Legends NYC.
Legends NYC, yeah.
From Legends NYC, live from Legends, we'll be doing the pregame. Then we'll be at the game, and then we'll come back and we'll do our post game. So be sure Friday when we play Detroit, if you're not with us, that's where we will be. So you can still tune in and listen. I should have had Memphis roster. I had a slide with Memphis roster. I should have put it there. Didn't look all that impressive to me. I got to be honest. They're without Jaren Jackson Jr. Dylan Brooks is back. Any thoughts? I know, Sim, you're going to do the whole preseason, your preseason preview tomorrow, but also you're going to do the pregame, the pregame show with Memphis. But just real quick, what are you looking forward to this week other than the game starting live, right? What are you looking forward to see from the Knicks in these 2 games?
Matchups.
I mean, yeah, matchups, but it's the first game of the season, right? So it's hard. I mean, we know some ways you can match up and defend teams because you've seen them last year, but every team is going to have new wrinkles to their game, right? So I think I really want to see the ball movement continue I want to see the defensive energy stay high, right? And I think that they've done a good job of rotating, help side defense, rotating, playing, talking on defense, making this second effort. I want to see him continue to do that because it's going to be needed when you got a guy like Ja Morant. You know what I mean? I think that they'll probably put RJ on Ja for good portions of the game. Maybe not as the main defender, but I think last year we see some times where RJ was on Ja, and I think you'll probably see some this year that RJ be on Ja. But still, you're gonna need that help side defense. You're gonna need guys being able to help and then get back out to the man quickly. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to see how they approach it on the defensive side of the ball, and playing that tough defense. Does Tibbs does he feel confident enough with this team to go to a little bit of a trap early, and get the ball out of Ja's hands? Right. So I'd be looking to see what kind of adjustments Tibbs is making and using that as a way to determine how confident he is with this basketball team. Because sometimes I feel like his lack of adjustments defensively last season, was because he didn't have as much confidence in the team to make those kind of rotations. Does he have that confidence in the team this year? And so I'd be looking for some things like that coming into that first game.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was definitely going to say the strategy against Ja Morant. How can we contain him? How can we slow him down? I want to see how Mitch matches up directly with Adams, arguably the strongest center in the league. Mitch has had actually some good games against him in particular. So that particular matchup I'm looking forward to. And who's on RJ? Is it Brooks? And how does RJ, go up against arguably one of the top young defenders out there?
Right.
And Fournier can't leave Desmond Bain. This guy could kill you from three. And I think can Randall actually dominate this particular matchup? I don't even know who it is without Jackson being out there. So, do we utilize that?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. I think they're playing. I forgot his name, but he's an international player, actually. That's gonna get the start. Yeah, I'm the same, Sam. I'm looking forward to the pace. I'm looking forward to assists. Are we gonna share the ball? What adjustments is Tibbs making out the gate for Morant? And that's what I want to see. I think that's something that I see with Miami. There's certain teams, they play a certain way. They don't just play their base defense all the time. Now, does Tibbs feel comfortable with this team defensively, to your point, Sam, where he feels like I got those type of defensive horses where we can start trapping and it's not, opening up other deficiencies, for us? Does he feel comfortable with that? Or does he just wait and see what Morant does, see how we're playing him, see how the team, because sometimes it's not just one player. One player can be going off killing you, but you look at the score, you within striking difference. Right. So I'm not changing, anything. He's getting what he's getting, but we're shutting down everybody else. We're in the game. We're playing well offensively. Let's just leave it. It remains to be seen. But I got my eye on Tibbs too, as far as the rotations and adjustments. And see how he does. I actually think, looking at the roster, and I might be missing something, looking at Memphis roster, that we might, even though Memphis was a good team and they played well together and they've been together longer, when I look at their roster, it's not really deep.
Right.
It's not really deep at all. That being said, we haven't played together long enough. So
I mean,
that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, I give the Knicks a chance to win this game, though. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh man, they playing Memphis, da da da. Ja Morant got the name, but I really give the Knicks a chance to win this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give them a chance. I think they can. I think they can. I think they can get a win. And I mean, you know what's gonna happen if we get a win, but you know,
Right.
people gonna go crazy. It's gonna be crazy, you know. But I think the Knicks could get a win.
Yeah. And the thing about Morant, I mean, Ja, I think his shooting has gotten a little better. But this guy, at least last season, he was top 5 in points in the paint. He's going,
Right.
he's going in there. And I think whoever's guarding him has to accept the challenge because this guy is a dog. Like he's not afraid. He's not, so you can't really play tentative against him. Whoever's guarding him have to be like, I'm up for the challenge.
Right.
Like it's a mindset playing him. Otherwise, you're gonna get cooked. For sure. And Mitch is gonna have, he's gonna get in the lane. And Mitch will have to come over and help out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So he might get 3 blocks. But he'll have ample opportunity to get them.
Right. Now, are you worried about Mitch getting in foul trouble if he has to come over a lot on Morant? Because this, like he's slippery. Talk about Ja Morant. He's slippery. So, he gets up in the air. Now he can, move around. Now Mitch is swiping at the ball or Ja creates some contact and boom, now Mitch is in foul trouble.
Right. Yeah. No doubt about it.
I seen their defensive drills. They be all right.
Right. I mean, that drill going straight up like that we seen him working on. I mean, that would come in heavy, right?
Yeah. So let's see if it translates from the practice floor to the game.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And if Mitch is out, we're okay. Hartenstein, if Hartenstein gets in foul trouble, because he does, Sims, and that may be a reason why Sims gets some time throughout the season because of foul trouble.
Right.
Because, Ihart is foul prone.
Right.
He just is. Anything regarding Detroit, and what do you think our record is at the end of the week?
At the end of the week, I mean,
2-0.
I think we might be 2-0 as well. I think we might be 2-0. The Knicks, they seem motivated. I think they're gonna go into Memphis pumped up and ready to go. Obviously, Memphis is gonna be pumped up too. You know what I mean? But they just seem motivated and really ready to play. I think they could be 2-0 coming out of this.
And I ain't gonna lie, it's really starting to feel like New York sports team's year. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Knicks are gonna do good. But yeah, 2-0.
This is the second team, and I'm not familiar with any of these guys. That might be, I thought I sent them the link. I didn't send them the link. All right, I'm gonna let him go. Okay.
There he is.
Sorry about that. I thought I sent you the link.
I mean, listen, I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard Queens Court. New York Knicks run NYC. Game 1 on deck. Let's go.
Finally, the superstar is in the building.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen, the only superstar we got in New York is the New York Knicks. The whole team, we got a team full of superstars. New York Knicks run NYC. Get that merch if you don't got it already, right, Sim?
No doubt about it. Get it.
No doubt about it.
NYK run NYC, baby.
I'm just gonna run over their bench and then DJ Shuttle. I'm gonna hand it over to you to get your last thoughts on the preseason. We had closed the door, but we're gonna squeak it open just a little bit. Get your last thoughts on the preseason, and then these games coming up. But this is the bench for them. So starting, I got Morant, Bain, Brooks, Aldama is the guy I was talking about, and Adams. Now I don't even know if they're gonna play both of them together or they're gonna move Aldama down to 5 and put somebody in at the 4. But this is the bench. Tyrus Jones, Jay Concher, who I don't, D. Roddy, Jay LaRavia, who's the rookie, B. Clark, who I'm familiar with, K. Lofton Jr., who played well, he's a rookie as well, and Jaren Jackson Jr., who's out. So when I look at the bench, I'm not.
He ain't really sweating too much.
Yeah, and I don't really remember that bench from last season. So they may have had some changes in the offseason as well. Desmond Bain is primed for a big season. But that's why I agree. I have the Knicks going 2-0. I don't think it's going to be easy. But they may have some chemistry issues with that first unit as well, with Jaren Jackson Jr. not being there and having to incorporate another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ja Morant obviously is a tough cover. But, I'd rather Ja Morant than Brunson going against, a 6'6", 6'7" point guard. He's not going to back him down low. Brunson's just got to be on his job, getting back on defense, and and staying in front of him. And hopefully Mitch covers up when Ja penetrates into the lane.
Right. And remember, Brunson is from the Western Conference, so he's played against Morant. Ja is not new. It's not new for him.
Yeah, he knows what time it is. He's had 2 years at a Ja Morant experience. He knows what to expect. I'm excited though. I mean, this is not a Memphis is gonna win this game type of game. If Jackson were there, I might feel a little different. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is a toss up. Why shouldn't we win this game? I think overall the team has shown really strong chemistry. Brunson's provided the leadership we need, and yeah, why not? And we better beat Detroit. I ain't trying to. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that game 2. Yeah, I mean, after 20, 30 games, if we feeling ourselves and we a couple of games over 500 and we cooking a little winning streak, it's a trap game, maybe, but not game 2. Absolutely not.
No, with it. For word.
Right. Yeah. Keith
You feel me,
Tim? So let me take this off. Keith Turner said, no, I'm sorry. This was a good point. Let me see if I can find it. Our bench hasn't proved anything yet to be talking about Memphis because they have to show up. Yeah, it's true. Like when I look at their bench, I don't really see players I'm familiar with. When I look at our bench, I do see players I'm familiar with, but you're right. They got to play well. They.
I mean, we're in New York, so they're going to be familiar to us. But, and this is, again, listen, this is why, again, the stability, I was listening earlier, the second unit, this is why we need D Rose. You can tell me all you want about not wanting to depend on him because of his injury concerns. You can tell me that all you want, and it's a fair point. But this is what you get with D Rose. You get somebody that is familiar. You get somebody that you know what to expect. You get somebody that can control the offense, somebody that can stabilize the team and make them feel comfortable and confident when he's out there. For IQ, for all the IQ's ability, you don't have the level of peace and serenity and zen out there. you know, and knowing that, yo, just give it to D Rose. He gonna make sure we good. You don't have that with IQ.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, D Rose got to stay healthy. You know what I mean? That's the big thing. He got to stay healthy, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. Almost not even D Rose. You know what I mean? So yeah, D Rose is definitely needed. He just got to stay healthy.
I mean, I think the more we talk about him, the more I wish we had a veteran. I wasn't thinking about this coming into the season too much, but now I wish we had another point guard, a veteran point guard, just on the bench, just to, you know, what they say, break glass in the emergency.
Right.
I wish we had.
Truthfully, I don't know if it needed to be another point guard. If it would have been like Crow's wish that we brought in Melo, you know, and with Cam playing the way he's been playing, I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe this Melo thing really happens.
You're right. We need another one for the wing. Because unhealthy Cam, we don't know what we're gonna get. You're right. We might.
We don't need another old head at point guard. We need an old head on the wing.
But would Melo sit on the bench and wait his turn?
I mean, yeah, of course. He has no choice.
I don't know.
Listen, it just makes it tough, man. It makes it really tough because I don't know if he has the same mindset as Rose. You know, he could probably come in and outplay just about everybody on the bench, even today. I don't know if he's willing to say, yeah, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna be Todd Gibson for y'all. I don't know if he's willing to do that.
If you ask Rose, he probably tell you he could outplay Brunson behind closed doors. Tell me I'm lying.
In short spurts, maybe.
But I mean, he might feel that way, right? But Rose, I think, also understands it's the changing of the guard, right? Like Tony said earlier. I think Rose understands that. I'm not sure Melo is ready to be in that mindset. But he's not playing with a team right now. So
right. You could be in the mindset of retirement.
Let me tell you something.
You have an alternative right now, my brother Melo.
Y'all mess around and bring Melo in here, and he playing behind Randall. Let Melo rock out with.
He be playing behind RJ.
I'm telling you. First of all, I don't know if he can guard the threes. I don't know if he can guard out on the wing.
Yeah. So he be playing behind Obi?
No. Behind Randall.
Right.
We mess around and he's playing behind beating Obi out, especially when the 3-pointers are not falling.
Yeah, and then
nah, that's not happening.
Be crazy. Then everybody's mad because Obi ain't getting no burn.
Nah, that's not.
Oh man,
that's not. He'd have to come in in a small forward role.
But he's not a small forward anymore.
I don't know if he's doing that anymore.
Yeah, we switched him to power forward when he was here, didn't we?
Nah, KP was still playing power forward more so.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's doing that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if he can guard out there. Listen, in fantasy, they got Rudy Gay listed as a power forward / center.
/center.
I was like, they really taking into account your mobility these days.
You know.
Crazy.
Rough.
Real. Any last words on and DJ Shaw, if you want, more time on, what you're looking for. I mean, we kind of went over it, what we're looking to see in these next two games, based on what we saw in the past, but this preseason. But anything you didn't say, anything coming to your mind lately, as of late, that you want to get in before we get out of here?
Well, Grimes is I believe is injured and won't be playing in game 1, and who knows how many games she's going to be out. So I'm hoping that with real game opportunity, somehow Cam has another opportunity and hits the switch and becomes the player many believe that he can be. I was looking very much forward to him being RJ's backup at small forward and being able to fill in if they give RJ a night off and get some starts. And, and without Grimes, I'm just hoping that if we have to go to a backcourt of IQ and Rose, that, it'd be interesting to see how all of this plays out because, I mean, you're only as good as what you've done for me lately. And I know we all loved Grimes and, he had all the potential and people talked about him maybe starting it and all of this. But if Fournier gets off to a hot start and IQ and Rose have chemistry and Cam is playing well, I mean, all cards are off the table for you, Grimes. You're going to have to sit and wait till your opportunity comes, just like you did last year. So, I'm intrigued to see how that for me has been the biggest thing going in. 4 players, 3 positions, and how exactly it was shaken down. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to see how that shakes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
No, I'm just the first game is always tough. It's always tough because it's almost like, especially now that you only play 4 preseason games, it's almost like another preseason game almost. You know what I mean? He may not be totally sure of all of his rotations. I mean, I think Tom Thibodeau probably is, but he may still be trying to figure out a few things here and there. So like I said, I'm just looking for some of those, some of those things that it's not even determined by the opposing team. It's determined by you. How hard are you playing on defense, the communication defensively, rotations, making the second effort, offense. Are you keeping the ball moving even when the game gets tight or the defense gets tight? Are you keeping that basketball moving? Now you got a little bit more pressure. The preseason don't mean anything, so there's not a lot of pressure going around. You know what I mean? Now you got some pressure on you because it counts against your record.
Right.
You know what I mean? You lose this game, it counts. Now, how are guys reacting? You know what I mean? Because now all the stats count.
Right.
So I'll be watching that too. Just watching how guys react.
Right.
I wonder what Steph be drinking in that cup.
Oh no. Seltzer water. And my little stevia drops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my throat.
Uh-oh.
Mad scratchy today.
That's that game 1 itch.
Yeah.
That game 1 itch.
For real.
So I got a gig on Friday night. I won't be able to make it to the excitement and the turn up. But I will be checking on Saturday to see how it all it all went. I'll be watching the game from the phone at the gig. You know what I mean? Staying posted.
All right.
Oh, Dad, I'll scream out all aboard just for you.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Any announcements? Sim, you doing your preseason?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a season review tomorrow, about 10:30. You know what I mean? So hopefully we see everybody there. Just breaking down a lot of the same stuff we went over today, but a few other things as well. Kind of breaking it down and looking at the schedule again. Now that we have some data as far as preseason is concerned, and looking at how we think the season might go for the Knicks.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be doing a season review as well at 9 p.m. On Dope Soul Sports Talk. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna try to see if I can finish it by 10:30 because I actually do want to make the MBK show as well. And then we play Wednesday, so Thursday morning I'll be doing my morning recap, Dope Soul Sports Talk, and Saturday morning. So DJ Shuttle, if it wasn't it sounds like it's gonna be a long night, so I'm not expecting you Saturday. But I'll be doing a review as well, and I'll be at Legends NYC Friday
Yeah.
for the game and the post game. It's always fun when NBK gets together. It's always fun. So I love these events.
It's like a family reunion.
Yeah, seriously. I hope,
Doubt about it.
so ladies and gentlemen, join us. You may not be going to the game with us, but you can join us at Legends. Starts at 3:30. 3:30 to 5:30, and then after the game, we'll be back at Legends.
Right. And it's a nice place to watch the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely
and the
is.
Buffalo wings are good. The food is good.
Right.
So it's a nice place to watch the game and wait for us to get back.
There you go.
All right. That's all I got.
All
Shout
right.
out to Sammy in the building and the rest of the chat. Appreciate y'all.
All right. There we go.